your thing. Yeah. Still waiting for my boo back home to get on. I hope everybody caught Lawyers and Labels. That was a fun experience for me. Oh.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon?
Oh, no, this is morning for me.
It's my morning, but I think it's 12.
This is my morning.
It's your morning too?
This is my morning, yes.
Oh, damn. Are you awake? Are you fresh-faced?
Am I awake?
I
don't know. I don't know if I'm awake.
Hi, everybody that just joined the live. Okay, so today, since normally I do like all my interviews like in person, but we're quarantined.
I know.
Got my little brunch that I'm gonna have.
I got tea next to me, so that's my breakfast.
You got breakfast too?
I got tea next to me. If that, what a switch!
Oh, you're switch. What kind of tea you drinking?
Peppermint.
Oh, peppermint. Okay, I got the elderberry tea.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's like supposed to help with your immune system. I'm gonna show you my little box. Don't tell anybody where I get my tea. Okay, this is top-notch shit.
Oh, it's fancy.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. So it says. Yeah, it's an immune booster, and yeah, it rebukes your defense system. Huh. So I've been drinking that in the morning. I was just telling everybody on live that like since I've been quarantined, and I've only been quarantined for 14 days, I had to quarantine myself for 14 days because in this time period I had visited my grandmother.
Okay.
She was diagnosed with pneumonia, but it turns out that she had COVID, and since then she passed away 2 weeks ago.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's okay, thank you. So I had to let my boss know that like I was in contact with her since then, and so I had to quarantine myself. But I was explaining to everybody on live the whole like 0 followers that watching me. I was explaining to them that like it's really important to continue your regular morning routine.
Yeah.
So that way, when you go back to whatever it is that you're regularly doing,
you're not trying to fall back into it at the last minute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, what's your morning routine like? What's a day in the life of Raccoon?
Well, now it's a lot different than it was actually. There's more. I don't think I've ever been busier than I am now, which is odd because everybody's always like how bored they are. But I get up, I do a warm up every single day. Hold on, give me 1 second because I'm trying to send out this thing. There we go. Okay. I do a warm up every single day. The same warm up that I did. I guess that's a routine. The same warm up that I did when I went to dance class.
Okay.
Then I work out. I go outside, jump rope. Then I just started dancing again. So yesterday I danced outside for a little while. Okay. And that's pretty much come back in, shower, and then eat some fruits. Yeah. Okay, so then in the morning, like, does dancing or exercising in the morning help you more to go about your day? Because I've heard that if you exercise in the morning, you're more likely to have energy throughout your day. Well, yeah, I would say so. It's just if I get up and decide that I'm up, I'm awake, as opposed to me like laying in bed for those couple of minutes where I fall back asleep. Like if I get up, I'm like, all right, it's time to roll out of bed and to warm up. Once I warm up, I'm usually good to go. But I do go back to sleep during the day because I have I think it's called by sleep schedule where I sleep 2 4-hour intervals throughout the day as opposed to sleeping 1 8-hour.
Is that on purpose that you do that?
No,
or?
It's not on purpose. It's just something that something that happens. Yeah.
I don't. Oh, you know what though? Honestly, since I've been quarantined, I kind of been doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I find that it makes me lazy. Like by the end of the day, I'm like, okay, now like, what am I supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
But I've always been like an evening person. Like to start my day, I'm always like 5 o'clock. That's when I'm starting my day. 3 o'clock. But when I'm working, it's early in the morning, 6:30. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of, dancing, that's another creative thing that you do aside from singing.
Yeah.
So would you say that passion over, trumps over you singing, or
no,
kind of
not
just
at all.
Yourself?
Not at all. Not even a little bit. Dancing is the last thing I ever learned how to do. Yeah, I couldn't dance at all. I had no rhythm at all. I had none. My mom was like, "Whose kid are you?" I started dancing. I guess my cousins taught me like the basics, like how to have like my rhythm. I got from them. I come from a Jamaican family, so they were always dancing.
That was the whole next question. Thank you.
Yeah, I come from a very Jamaican family. Well, I have Jamaican and half American. My mother's family is American. My dad's family is Jamaican, and they pretty much taught me how to dance. And then I started taking dance. I want to say it's only been a couple years. I've been taking dance classes with my choreographer. So I've been doing that. I've gotten the chance to be in music videos, which I think is ridiculous because I don't consider myself a dancer for the most part. But yeah, I've gotten opportunities to do things like that.
You know what, though? It's the people that stumble upon their talents that actually just excel in everything. Because, would you say that you being of Jamaican descent helped influenced in your music and in your dance too?
It's definitely influenced my dance because I feel like most of the time for my own performances I do hip hop. Like that's the dance style that I do. But the videos that I was in, both for Cranium, are dance hall music videos. And I think it's because that's the only style where someone goes freestyle, I can do it. So they trust me to do those styles. But yeah, it definitely influences my music because there's just people in my family who ask for certain things. Like my grandmother, she'd be like, "When are you gonna do a song like this?" And I'm like, "All right, let me just push that out for you." And then so I've done I have a song called Ignite. I've done
I was just saying earlier.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
I was like, oh snap! I feel the reggae kind of feel to it. Yeah. I'm like, ooh, this is what's up. And you know what I also noticed is that I don't know how to say it. It's like you mix the song together, like the different beats and like different genres, kind of. But it actually it really does flow, though.
Thank you. I try my best.
I feel like when you're doing your music,
yes,
are you listening from a dancer's perspective or a hip hop perspective, like an artist perspective, a singer?
To be honest, I never really think.
Sorry about that.
No, I was gonna say I don't ever really think that deep while I'm recording. Because to me it then becomes like the strategic thing that I'm trying to do, and then I feel like that ruins my songwriting because I don't write like on paper. Like I don't sit down and write things out. I literally just go to the mic and sing until it makes sense. Does that make sense?
You know what? Yeah, a lot of artists do that actually. And they prefer better, and they think that it'll bring out the more creativity in them.
If I can't finish a song that way is when I go back and write it out. I'm like, okay, well, this can be fixed this way, this can be fixed this way. But most of the songs that I've put out are just me going to the booth and just singing or making noise until something happens.
It's not noise.
Most of the time it's just noise. Most of the time there's no words. I'll just be like, na, 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 na. I'm like, that's not.
No,
Those
not
those are
Anubis.
not words.
But to be honest, I can tell that you are not necessarily writing everything down.
Mm-hmm.
These songs, some like they feel like you freestyle your songs, but once at the end of it, I'm sure you come together and be like, okay, so this does not work. This has to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that makes sense, though. It makes sense, and you can tell that you're actually singing to be into the song.
Yeah.
You're not singing like, okay, I wanted to sit up here and I wanted to make this type of song, so let me write it out, plan it out, and things like that. So that's good. So you would say that you, when you're making your music, you just go with the flow. You're not necessarily doing things from like a dancer perspective.
No, it's all based off emotions. Like, if I feel a certain type of way, that's usually what I'm gonna sing about. Shout out the GameCube in the back. Oh yeah, sorry, this is so random.
Oh my god, I used to have a GameCube.
I found my GameCube last night, and I couldn't find no games, and I was like, damn, I'm so sad. And I opened it up, and Mario Kart is inside. So I'm excited for that today. But
that used to be, well, I mean, you know, quarantine life, we get excited over the little shit that we just find out of nowhere.
There's a GameCube behind me and a PS2. That's really random, but yeah.
You are lit. I used to really fuck with GameCube, but one day my little brother, he broke it. I beat his ass to a pulp because I was like, that gotta be, you know what I'm saying? Like you didn't start with me.
Wow, you hate me.
Yeah, like you like what's going on? But it was my fault because I was like, oh yeah, you know, you could play with it or whatever. So what would you say was like your favorite GameCube game?
Oh no,
other than Mario.
Pokemon XD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, Army's in here.
Hi, Army.
Finally got him in here.
Right, he missed the last one, I think. My favorite was Sims.
I have Sims for PS2. I'm not really a fan of Sims on like games. Just not on PC. Like I only play the Sims on the computer.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it's so much easier to like handle everything at the same time. There's a lot going on in the Sims.
This new Sims is not what's hitting. I want to go back to the old. You
don't like Sims 4?
I don't know what the hell that is.
Really?
I want to go back. The new stuff is too much. It's like you got to do too much. Now I rather and you know what else? Sims is very time consuming.
Oh yeah, no, you're not doing anything else for the day.
Yeah, if you have things on your mind, things that you're doing and goals that you're setting, you don't have time to sit up there and make a whole new family because you got to take care of your home.
My cousin was just telling me yesterday how she sat on there for 18 hours, and I was like, oh
shit.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you feel like you've overcome any boundaries that you've set for yourself thus far in 2020? Even though 2020, we need to send it back, but whatever.
Oh no, I haven't put out music in 2 years. So yeah, because I put out music this year. I'm realizing now while we've been in quarantine that I guess I'm scared to put out music because I don't know why. I don't know why, but I know that I am. Because I put out music 2 years ago, and before that I didn't put out music for 4 years. Mm-hmm. But during those times, I'm never on like a hiatus. Like I'm always performing, so it's not like I'm not around. Like I put on a whole show without a body of music out, which I think is amazing that people come because I don't understand how we pack the place and I haven't put out music in so long, which means that the people who support me.
Yeah, they support you, not just you as artists or they supporting you as an individual, which is really good.
So last year, oh my god, he's basically Rihanna. So last year I decided that I was definitely gonna put out music this year. It didn't go as planned because of how everything is going, but I was just like, if I can't hold on to this anymore, like I need to put stuff out. And Complicated was the first thing that I ever mixed by myself. So putting it out, I was like, if this is trash, it's because of me. Like, it's my fault.
Oh my gosh.
So I was really nervous about that.
I find that like a lot of artists, do go through those spurts of where they don't put out music for a good amount of time, and they just come in and just kill shit, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready to kill shit.
Yeah, because people are really actually waiting, but they're not saying to you, they're not hitting you up every day like, when you gonna do it, when you gonna do it.
Oh, no, they are.
You got me, I do it.
No, yes,
Your
they are.
friends, whoever's in this timeline, they really do, like, they're like, nah, we on him.
No, yeah, they are. They are.
Which is good.
Nobody is like, there's not a day that goes by that people are like, where's the music, or like, when are you putting something out? People are still asking me now. I'm like, damn, I just put out Complicated. Y'all can give me a break.
Right.
Like, hold on a quick second.
So when you take those little breaks in between, well, not little, but big breaks in between, do you find it better that, like, better preparing for the things that you're going to put out? Like, are you healing in that process?
Oh, yeah. Either healing or, well, I'm always writing. So there's always songs to listen. I guess because for me, I listen to them all day, so it doesn't feel like a huge gap is happening. But for everybody else, they're like, well, what songs are you doing? What's going on? Hold on, I'm trying to read comments. I have my whole outfit for Orange Live.
They said, nah, we ready for the next track.
Right, my next fit is ready.
Everybody is ready to pop out to Orange Live.
Everybody's ready. I feel like one person in here has performed with me at Orange Live. Most people have gone. Emma that I'm reading, I don't know if Emma's ever been there yet, so she's in for a surprise. I'm excited for that. But yeah, during the time I'm usually healing or just trying to figure it out, like figure out how I want to go about certain things. Like I've had conversations with my cousins, and because I feel like, okay, so basically today I got a message from, I don't know the person, I guess, so they just heard my song and they reached out, which I love. I don't like private fans. I like people who are very expressive. So someone wrote me and they were like how they've never heard a voice like mine before. This sounds like I'm bragging and I don't like that. Anyway, sorry. They said they never heard a voice like mine before and R&B needs that. So I have a hard time accepting that compliment because everyone who hears me sing on Instagram, this is me. I'm about to go on a rant. I'm so sorry. Everyone that hears me sing on Instagram,
listening. This is your show. Let's go. I'm here to talk to you. We're having lunch. We're having tea. Let's go.
Right. They always say like I'm the voice that's needed for R&B, and I don't like that because I don't consider myself like a savior for R&B music. First of all, I don't think it's dead. I know a lot of upcoming R&B artists that are amazing. I don't consider myself one of them, to be honest. Because I feel like when people want you to save a genre like that, they want me to stay in that genre, and the moment that I step outside of it,
they're like, wait a minute, this is not what we're used to, and then they stop following you, kind of.
Which is funny because I hardly listen to R&B music. Like, that's not my...
And you're doing your music. I don't know why anybody would put you in that lane. I don't consider you an R&B artist.
I think because...
I think you're kind of like contemporary.
Oh my... That's what I consider myself. So, a lot of the times, like, I've gotten messages how like, my new song doesn't... my new song doesn't represent me as an artist or as a person. And I'm like, I find that really hard to believe because it's
Who did it? Who said it? You want me to hit them up?
No. No. But I feel like that's weird because it's a video filled of my family and my closest friends, and I don't know how that would not represent me. And I feel like because like people hear music and they'll be like, oh well, he's not showing his full range or he's not doing the riffs and runs. And literally the things I do on Instagram, like that I post of me singing, they're literally just for you guys, like just to get you guys excited or to hear me sing because I have the ability to do so. But in my music, I don't necessarily do those things all the time. I don't think it's necessary all the time. If I practice them because I want it to be a skill set that I possess, that if I want to do those things, I'll be able to insert into my music. But I don't think it's like an all the time necessary thing. Like for Complicated, I just wanted to speak to you guys. Does that make sense? I just wanted to talk. Like I wanted to feel like I was having a conversation.
Let out some emotion. Let out some core values, interests that you have.
Like those emotions always need to be like forced out in a huge vocal way.
No emotion should be forced out.
Yeah,
it should happen
like sometimes I just wanted to just spill out, and that's what I want Complicated to be like. And then you kind of save those things for live performances, like the cool extra stuff. I kind of save that for live performance where people are like, oh, I love, because I want people to know that I can sing live, but I don't mind people saying this live version is it. Like, I don't mind people saying, oh no, I love the audio, or I love the live version. I like having that gap between people who like one thing and the other. I kind of don't want any like middle fans. I want them to go back and forth. Like, no, the live version is better. Like, no. Have you heard the recorded version? I'm fine with that. I like that a lot.
A lot of times that happens. Like, for instance, one of my favorite artists is Drake, right? Mm-hmm. I do not like him performing live.
Okay.
I think that he has the ability to turn up and get the crowd going. Mm-hmm. But the music, when I hear his music, his audio is more for like when you're in the house, when you're in the car, when you're thinking about someone. Mm-hmm. That's the image that I have in my brain. So right. When I see him in live and he doesn't portray that image, it just fucks me up, my head. Like, I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know what I'm saying? But I feel like you're kind of hard on yourself as an artist, just a little bit.
Oh, I'm extremely hard on myself.
Oh, but why is that, though?
Because...
Why do you think it is?
Because I can't accept the compliment from people that when people tell me that I'm great or I did a good job, because I know that there's more, and if you like this, then Lord, you're going to love what I really can do. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's still something blocking me from showing the things that are in my brain. I'm just learning how to speak up for myself. Like, this is a new thing for me. So sharing my ideas are new for me. Like when I was younger, I would lie and say that someone else came up with something that I came up with just because I didn't want people to be like, that's a dumb idea, right? Or like, that's a dumb idea, right? When I don't like it. So I would be like, oh, my mom thought we should do this. Or like, my cousin thought we should do this, even though it would be my idea, just because I didn't want it to be shut down. But now I kind of just, okay, for instance, though, like when I'm going out places or I want to get dressed, I don't share like what I want to wear to people anymore. I kind of just show up and then they like it, because most of the time when I explain the things I want to put on, they're like, I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if that's going to work. And then I get shut down and I'm like, I don't like this basic ass outfit y'all convince me to put on now.
Yeah, well, from what it seems like, because I'm still kind of in the process, mm-hmm. You're still kind of healing from whatever trauma that you had in the past. Where somebody might have like pushed you, and this is just my, like, from outside looking in, pushed you to do something or tried to push you to do something that you really didn't want to do. You ended up doing it anyway. And
that's my whole life. It's my whole life. Done things I didn't want to do.
Right.
Yeah,
and then deep down inside, you were like, shit, like this really just ruined a little piece of my little heart.
That's my everyday. It's not.
No. So, yeah, in my opinion, I just feel like, as far as your music, your artistry is concerned, even like, as a dancer, don't tell nobody shit. Because that leaves people room to critique. Mm-hmm. And that I'm still learning myself, because like I did the Spill It in 10 with you, right? Mm-hmm. I was asking around about, like, do you think I should keep this going? Blah, blah, blah. And, I've got different opinions. One opinion I'm actually going to go with, because that's really how I feel, mm-hmm. But initially, my thing was always, I know what's right to do, but I end up asking for advice, mm-hmm. and going with the advice. And even if it wasn't nowhere close to me, to how I feel, and just feeling bamboozled at the end of the day, which sucks.
For me, I've started putting my foot down on a lot of things. If Carlos is still in here, I think he can vouch for me.
Hi, Carlos.
He performed with me at Orange Live 3. He danced for me. And I think the rehearsals for Orange Live 3 were, I don't want to say mean, but like, they were the most strict that I've ever been. Usually for my show, I let my choreographer just go off. Like, it's most of the time, it's just like, I'm in there and he's choreographing and he goes, well, do you like it? And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, you're a great choreographer. I'm not going to question anything that you're doing. It's never bad. Like, nothing's ever wrong with the choreography. But I mean, I do have ideas in my head that I would never share them because I feel like he knew what he was doing and I didn't. So it was like, why would I give input on dancing when you're the choreographer? Like, you've worked with such like amazing people. You know what you're doing. Like, you just have it. But Orange Live 3, I kind of
took the reins for yourself.
Yeah, like usually my choreographer is the bad cop and I'm the good cop, and I'm just like, oh no, it's fine, everything's gonna work out. But I was kind of strict. Like, I hate to blow up their spot, but like our last rehearsal, I kind of just told them, like, at the end of rehearsal, I was like, I'm not happy, I'm not comfortable, I don't feel it yet. So hopefully you guys can figure it out. And then I left. That was the end of rehearsal.
Basically, because in my head, that was the nicest way that you said it. But like, I'm a Scorpio, so I'm rude. So like, like in my mind and in my head, I probably would have been like, "This is shit."
I must say, Carlos says yes, 100%.
Yeah, this is shit. This is not good.
Yeah, I was not happy.
You guys need to get it the fuck together, or else I'll be on stage by my motherfucking self.
I was not happy. But I mean, they came on stage and killed it, so they got it together.
Good job to the rest of the dance team.
And then shout out to them because I think we only rehearsed for a week for a 2-hour set. So.
Wow.
Yeah. 1 week of rehearsal, and then one of my dancers flew in from California to perform with us too. So yeah.
That's when you like eat, sleep, breathe, shower, dancing.
Well, I don't eat, sleep. I don't eat, sleep, breathe it at all, but they do. They eat, sleep, and breathe it. I know Carlos and Emma are in a journey to find love with it again. I think that's what the gist of what they were trying to say to me, of why they love what they do. But I know that they eat, sleep, and breathe it. I know that my dancers, it's something that's a huge part of them, because they wouldn't put themselves through so much of the, I don't want to say drama in the dance world, but there's a lot. They wouldn't put themselves through it if they didn't love the end goal so much, or they wouldn't put themselves through the trials and tribulations of the industry if they didn't love it so much. There's a core love for it, and I feel like as artists, a lot of us have to try and figure out how we fell in love with something, when we fell in love with it, why it's so important to us. Is it the only thing that we have? Do I love it, or am I just comfortable? And I feel like that's a huge part of being an artist, and when you figure out those things, it makes it easier to keep going in something. Mm-hmm. For me, I know that this is what I love, especially after learning so many different things. Like I do photography, I do graphic design, I dance. I don't consider myself a dancer, but I dance. I do those things, but I don't love them. I'm good at them. I do them for myself. But if someone else was to ask me for it, I'd be like, I don't want to. Like, I don't. And when people offer,
like, can you do anything else?
Yeah,
but
like, I just don't want to do it. But singing and writing and performing, I love performing. That's a huge part of why I do what I do. Everybody's always like, do you love songwriting the best? And I'm like, no, I like to get my emotions out, and I like to, it's weird because I'm an introvert, but I like to share. But the only way I feel comfortable sharing is on stage. And that's why I like performing. I feel like when you have a conversation with someone, they're allowed to, because it's a conversation, they're allowed to respond. They're allowed to give feedback. And it's all right now. But on stage, everyone is there to listen. Like, that's the purpose of a show. So everyone just has to listen to me vent.
They want to see what you have.
And they can't give me instant feedback. Like, they can't give me their instant, oh, no, you shouldn't feel that way. It's most of the time, it's just like, I got this out, and I'm good now.
Right.
Like,
you're at peace.
Yeah. Like, I finally got to share a way I feel. And when you come to Orange Live, you'll see that the show is split up into so many different emotions. It's a fucking roller coaster. The acoustic set, I cry every single year, like bawling. It's really embarrassing. I think you'll enjoy it a lot.
Well, I like live music, so I prefer it more than audio, to be honest. Especially when you're expressing yourself, you're expressing like your true emotions. I want to see somebody cry at because they love their song and they remember that time when they wrote this, or they remember that time when they were in the booth and they did this, you know?
Yeah.
And they remember how they felt at that moment. And now they get to share it with everybody else. So I love stuff like that.
And it's hard because when people ask me, like, am I over things? Yes, like, I forgive. I don't forget, but I forgave. I've moved on. I've grown from it. But as soon as I'm back on stage, because of how deep I am into my songs, I go back there. Like, I'm literally in the moment. Like, it's not a memory for me. I'm in the moment, and it's like the hardest feeling ever to try and sing through
somebody said in the moment with you, because somebody said literally has a screaming lyrics 1 second and crying the second, which is, that's exactly how music should be. It's an emotional roller coaster, especially when you're a contemporary artist. You feel my favorite contemporary group is Paramore.
I love Paramore. Right? And the person who wrote the literally has a screaming is gonna go nuts when you just said that you love Paramore. She loves Paramore.
Really?
Yeah.
I love oh my gosh, like I was heavy into Paramore, heavy into Panic at the Disco, just heavy into Paramore, to be honest with you. So a lot of artists,
like all the artists that you just said.
Really? A lot of artists, like they in the past they used their artistry, like singing or rapping, to express things to like their family members, especially like as a young kid. Like when I was younger, I used to sing, but like that was that. God. So to like apologize for something I did wrong or to express myself about something, I would sing to my mother and my dad.
Okay.
Like in the living room. And they would be like kind of confused.
Right.
Because they're like, this is how you're telling us about this? And when I'm saying like young age, I mean like 4 years old. You know what I'm saying? And then also I used to write letters and give it to my mother underneath the door because I didn't want to see. I used to write little poems and stuff like that. Did you find yourself doing that when you were younger?
No. That sounds weird. I just like shut down the question now. But no, because okay, so I was gonna say I never really had friends, but no, that's true. I'm not gonna say it. I've never really had friends. Like I grew up with my cousins. There's like 10 of us in a group chat right now that we FaceTime every single night, which I don't understand how we FaceTime with 10 people. It's a lot of us in there. But I grew up with my cousins as my best friends, so I never really needed to have friends growing up.
Your first best friends anyway, so.
Yeah, like, and we speak to each other every day and we're grown. Like, everybody growing up kind of told us that we were going to drift apart, but that never happened. I speak to my cousins literally every single day. Like, every single day of my life. And my songs usually come from conversations or, like, deep nights that I've had with my cousins or, like, with my close friends. So, like, they'll ask me something, I'll explain it, and then I'm like, well, now I need to write it out because I feel like there's so much more about it that I can share. And now that you've shared your stories with me and related to me, I have so much more to work with than just my story. Like, because we spoke about it, I know that someone else can relate to it. And that's kind of how I write my songs, because I've never really had an issue like with sorries. I've never really had an issue with saying I was wrong. I've never really had issues with any of those things. Like if I had to say I was wrong, I would just say I was wrong. And if I'm, for me, and I apologize. If I hurt you or if something bothered you, I apologize. I don't care if
you thought it was,
Yeah, I don't care if I thought it was dumb or if I thought it wasn't worth you being upset. If I care about you. If I care about you and I hurt you in any way, I apologize. The moment someone asks me to stop doing something, I stop doing it. I don't really ask why because it's not important. You don't like it, I'm not going to do it to you. But this comes with me caring about you, and if I care about you, now I mean, like if you doing it for every little thing that I do, then you don't like me. You don't like anything I do. That's something different. Like if I'm doing something particularly to you that you don't like, you can voice it, and it's fine. Like, no questions need to be asked. You don't like it, I'm not going to do it. Unless you're probably one of my cousins and I'm just annoying you, then you asked out.
You hear that, cousins? They know that already. They're like, we know how that goes. So, as far as first projects are concerned, that's most like your first your newborn, like your firstborn type of thing. How did you feel when you put out like your first project?
2010, I put out a mixtape called Asylum. So I lived here all my life. Well, no, that's a lie. I lived here since I've been recording. So in 2010, I had a neighbor upstairs who was also, actually, I think he's in here. Not gonna lie to you, I do think I saw him come in here. Which was random, but that I'm talking about you now. But I had a neighbor upstairs who was recording music and was recording with a friend of his who sorry, my cousins are gonna laugh because they know why I'm not naming names. so that was friends with another artist, and we became really close. We're not close anymore. We don't speak at all. He's the first person that influenced me to make music. I saw that he was making music from the house, and I was just like, well, if they're doing it, then I can do it too. And so I just recorded a whole mixtape, not really thinking too much about it. Like, there was no real like, is anybody gonna listen to it? Is it blah blah? Like, I wasn't worried about anything. I was just like, oh, music. Let me record it. Recorded. I think it's 6 songs. Anybody who's in here who knows, correct me, please. And I think it's 6 songs. I put it out. And I was just excited. There was no real like. I don't know if I was nervous. I don't think I was nervous. It wasn't that good. And I'm just annoying you. 18 Wheeler is literally just about. I wrote it. The reason that it's my single is the same reason, like, they all line up. Like, I chose it as a single because everyone else wanted a different song as my single that year. They wanted this song I have called 1459, which is another amazing song that I love to perform and I love to sing.